Hello, gang. Welcome to Math 3440, Section 1. I'm Professor Day, and this is Online Data Exploration and Visualization for Fall of 2022. I wanted to go through the syllabus real quick and kind of the layout of the D2L system we have so you can kind of know what to expect here. So first of all, a little information about me. I prefer you email me from your regular school email to mine because I can answer you back quicker from that. So use the, dwayne.day@mga.edu. You can email me within D2L itself, but I have to be near my computer to answer you back because the email client doesn't work well from my phone or anything else. So emailing me, it's easier to answer you back by my usual MGA email. Okay. My office is in Macon in Math 219, and I'll also have an online office via Zoom. I'll be in my office in Macon on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 12:30, and from 2 to 3 I have a class in between those office hours. But if you need to stop by and see me, please do. And on Wednesday nights at 7 to 7:30, although we could go over that time limit by a little bit, I'll have a Wednesday night Q&A, which will be virtual in Zoom, and I'll show you where that link is for the virtual office hours, okay? I'll always try to respond with you within 24 hours on a weekday, and weekends, I'm just like you guys. If I got stuff to do on weekends, I've got stuff to do. So I'll give me 48 hours on the weekends. So obviously, to be in this class, you need to have made at least a C in 1101, Math 1111, which is college algebra, or 1401, which is elementary stats. Some of the material we'll go through in this course, since we're going to basically look how to explore data through descriptive statistics and graphics, basically, is what we're going to learn. And then we're going to learn how to use different software packages to do those same things that might, come in handy in a job you might have in the future. Plus, in lieu of that, this is the first course in both the stats minor and the stats major class that you have to have. And so this helps us learn a couple of programs before we take those other classes, because you might have to use one of the some different kind of programs in the classes. These programs we use in this course are not the only statistical software platforms out there, but they're two of the major ones that you might see, and they kind of give you a good idea of what might be coming forth. The required materials, there's not really anything required. I'm not requiring a book for the class. All the notes will be in lectures, so every lecture I will supply you with what the book would give you anyway. And then you'll have lecture quizzes that'll check to see how well you know the stuff. So a little bit more on the lecture quizzes shortly, but the textbook I'm basing the lecture slides off of are the Elementary Statistics by William Navidi and Barry Monk. I'm using the 4th edition. If you just want to get a copy of that book, that's fine, but you can get an older copy of the books, and they're usually pretty good as well, although the 4th edition has a few new things in it that the 2nd, 3rd, and 1st editions don't. You can also go to the MARC in either Cochrane or Macon and probably sit in the MARC and peruse through the book there if you want. The MARC director has okayed that in the past. I'm sure he'll be fine with it this semester as well. Now, suggested material you might need is a TI-84 or some kind of equivalent calculator. You won't need it often, but when you do need it, it is nice to have it. It'll make doing some of the statistical stuff like finding the means and standard deviations and things of that nature a little easier for you when it comes to taking the midterm or doing quizzes. And I will show you how to use that specific, either a TI-84 or 83, in lectures when we come to those points where we need it. The computer laptop is definitely something you need. Not a Chromebook, and the reason I say not a Chromebook is because the midterm will be proctored through Respondus, and Respondus Monitor does not like Chromebooks. It doesn't work with Chromebooks. So, and I don't care if you take the exam on your personally, you have a Chromebook, if you take it on there, but you definitely want to have access to somebody's computer where you can take the midterm, all right? But the computer or laptop you have, you need high-speed internet access, webcam, and a microphone. All those are requirements for using the proctored system. Also, if you join a virtual meeting with me, those things come in handy as well. We'll use 2 programs in the course at the end. All right, so the beginning will be no software stuff in the beginning. So the first half of the course will be primarily us kind of re-going through and learning a few new things about basic statistics and graphics and things of that nature. And then the second half will be, let's learn to use programs and use what we know to get the things out of the programs we've learned about. So Minitab is one. It's more of a point and click system. When I say point and click, hopefully everybody knows what that means. It means it's kind of set up nicely so that everything's in a menu and you pull it down. It's $32.99 for a 6-month rental, and you don't need it today, but it's a 6-month rental which will cover you through this semester and a little bit beyond. But you'll definitely need it by right after the midterm, because that's when the Minitab lectures will start. R&R Studio, R is the actual program, but R Studio is what we'll run through to run the programming language, and it's more of a programming language, but it's more of what I call a function-driven language. We're not going to have to write a bunch of code, but we're going to have to know how to pull up functions to get the things out of R that we want. And so we're going to learn some nifty ways to do that. So you'll learn kind of sort of programming here, but it's more function-driven. And so I will give you a lot of examples and things of that nature, but I'm not going to ask you to write things like for loops and while loops and stuff like that. For those of you familiar with programming, don't be scared. We'll get you through this, all right? There's nothing to purchase from the bookstore, so you don't have to worry about that. The online proctoring service, like I said, is Lockdown Browser with webcam. You'll take the orientation quiz with that, so you can make sure it works for your computers. If you're having issues with it, we need to figure that out early before the midterm. And the only other time you'll use that is when you take the midterm. Okay? So there's a bunch of information here about that and getting help and stuff like that. It won't cost you anything extra because your tech fees that you pay for at the school paid for us to be able to use this Respondus monitor system. So let's talk about how you'll be assessed in the course. There'll be 6 lecture quizzes, all right, worth 24% overall of your total grade, and each quiz will count about 4% of your overall grade. So what'll happen is we'll have 2 lectures, and then a quiz will be due the Wednesday after those 2 lectures go. You'll see in the schedule here shortly how that works. Then you have the midterm exam for 20% of your grade. 3 guided projects. One's a Minitab and the other 2 will be R projects, and then the final project's an R project as well, and it'll be sort of a guided project like the rest of the other 3 projects, except for it'll be something we haven't really learned how to do yet, and so it'll be kind of testing you to see how you do with that. All right. So there's more information here about that, but the lecture quizzes will open on a Monday and be due on a Wednesday. So usually the second lecture that involves that drops on that same Monday, but then you'll have till Wednesday to get them done. Okay. While they're open, those 3 days they're open, you have unlimited attempts on these quizzes. So take them as many times as you want to get to a better grade. And reach out and ask me questions if there's something you don't quite understand. All right. The proctored midterm exam. I'm doing something a little different this semester. It's going to be open for about 4 days. You will have been done with all the lectures up to that point, from lectures 1 through 13. And you'll get, if you take it once and you're not happy with your grade, you can take it a second attempt. I'm allowing that this go around, that you get 2 attempts on the midterm. So if you're not happy with your first grade, take it again. Your highest grade will be kept. Simple as that. Like I said, your guided projects, there'll be 1 in Minitab, and there will be 2 in R. And then after that, you'll be able, you should be ready for the final project. So you have to turn the final project in. Obviously, it was 32% of your grade, so it's kind of like you got to turn something in to make sure you pass the class. So make sure you do that. Okay. Extra credit, I don't give out extra credit unless it's for the entire class. So never email me asking me about extra credit. That's kind of a faux pas. I don't like that so much. But if I feel or deem it's necessary, I will give something to the entire class for that. Grading scale, we've seen kind of what each thing counts for. Policies, this is the generic stuff. The withdrawal date is October 12th, so if you decide you don't think you're going to make it, you'll have taken the midterm by this point anyway. But for the most part, you should be okay at this point. So try not to drop it, man. I think you'll be fine. Delayed opening closing stuff doesn't involve us here because it's online. Everything's online with this class, so no worries there. The tutoring center doesn't really tutor this class so much, but they may be able to answer some of your questions because some of the stuff is just straight up from elementary stats, ideals, and whatnot anyway. So if you have questions, you may be able to get some help there, but I'm your first resource when it comes to needing extra help. No-show reporting. Within online classes, they force us to give a no-show list every semester. And so I'm only requiring you to do 2 things, actually technically 3. August 17th is the date that I'm giving you to fulfill the no-show reporting. August 17th is the date I'm giving you to finish certain tasks so that you don't get reported as a no-show. Getting reported as a no-show means you're dropped from the course. So completing the entry quiz, which will literally take you a few minutes, and it's at the end of the Start Here menu in D2L, and then complete the Introduce Yourself discussion assignment. You don't have to be too crazy with that, just answer a few questions or just say hey or whatever, and that'll suffice that particular requirement. So those are 2 pretty easy requirements that you could get done day 1. Go ahead and knock those out for me, and by August 17th that's the due date of the first lecture quiz anyway, so that's actually a 3rd requirement that's there that you need to get done by that time. Okay. See what else is important here before I go over to D2L. The schedule I also have separately in D2L for you. You don't really, this is pretty much how I'm going to structure the course for the most part. We may shift some dates here or there if we need to. We'll decide that as we go, but for now this is the way it's going to be. So you've got your quiz 1 availability and due date, end dates, begin and end dates here, what dates they're available on, and over here you got what dates your lectures will pop up in the content browser. Everything's dated out this way so that everything will show up in D2L as you see here. All right. And then you'll have a good period of time at the end of the semester to do the final project, a couple of weeks, and because we have Thanksgiving that 1 week, so you have plenty of time to get the final project due, but it must be turned into me by December 3rd by 11:59 p.m. or it will not be accepted. So make sure you get those things in on time and get those things done appropriately, and you should do fine. So let's go over to D2L real quick. Of course, I've got the syllabus and schedule here. So if you just want to print out the schedule, it's in here. The Start Here menu is where you'll start. You should be right now if you're watching this video. But go through everything in there, get through it, and take the orientation quiz. And the discussion post is in there as well, so you can get that knocked out. The course content is where the majority of this stuff is in the course is at. So yours won't look like mine at first because it's all released by dates. And so mine is full up with everything in the class right now. For every lecture and lecture quiz are posted in here. But if you go to Content Browser and then go to the course content here, you can see what's in each one of these folders. So lecture 1, I've got the slides that I'm posting, and then the lecture of me going through the slides. Same thing here. And there's blank spots in the lecture slides for you to fill in notes and things like that. All right, so and then you'll take a lecture quiz on those dates I said that where it's available. And so that kind of goes through. Also within here, if you're looking through this list here, you'll notice all the way through lecture 13 is all is all here, and then and then if you look in between, the quizzes are here. Lecture 14 starts our first Minitab lecture, and that's going to be, let's see, that starts on September 29th. And when that's released, not that you'll be able to complete the whole thing, but the lecture 14, 15, 16, 17 are all Minitab lectures, and then the Minitab guided project is information folder. This will pop out the same day as lecture 14 does. So whenever I start, whenever a guided project comes up, it will come out on the day the first lecture that covers that material comes up. So you'll notice it in the schedule that way too. But Minitab guided projects, in here I'll give you everything you need, like the PDF with all the information and directions in it, and any data sets you may need are going to be in here as well. And so that'll be the same way for the R projects as well. Like for example, the first R project, R lecture is on the 18. Lecture 18 is October 13th, and so the day that opens, R Guide Project 1 will open too. You won't be able to do this project till you watch lecture 20. I know this is well in advance, but I'd like to say things multiple times so people don't forget. All right, so that's kind of how this works. So everything's kind of laid out for you here, and it will pop up based on the date of availability. So whatever the syllabus says is when these things will pop up. Sometimes they might pop up earlier. If somebody asks me, hey, can you release this earlier? I might release some things earlier, so never feel free to ask. Worst thing I can say is no. All right. Other than that, let me click here. After course content, I have the assignment submission folders. So here's where, when you turn in the Minitab guided projects or the R guided projects, here's where you'll upload them after completion. All 4 of those, and they've got the due dates here. All right. So those due dates are pretty stern right now. If I need to move them, they're always due on a Saturday, so they give you at least 1 weekend day to work on it. All right. I found that last time I taught this, that helped out. The helpful links and documents page here, like here's directions for installing R and R Studio, download base R for Mac, R Studio download link for this is for either base, but those links are in here for you PC folks. So PC folks, pay attention to this first link. Mac users, pay attention to these second 2, and remember, download R before you download R Studio, or else you'll have issues and have to uninstall and reinstall, and it's a pain in the butt. The rest of this stuff's just information for that we'll use throughout the semester. Like Quick R is a link to a site that has a lot of useful R stuff. Basics of R document, which is kind of old at this point, but it works. It has good information in it. The R color chart from when we start using colors and making graphs. I will make reference to that later in the semester. And the rest of these are like R cheat sheets for different things. And then the On the Hub Minitab link here will take you to where you can purchase the Minitab license for that program. I probably should slide that up. Let's see if I can slide that up here underneath. So I slide at the top. That's where it should be. All right. So, and then guided project solutions. You won't see these until I make them available to you. But when I do, I will open these up after the due dates, and you can go and compare your stuff to my solutions to see what you could have said about some things or what you could have done differently and whatnot. All right. And then my virtual office hours and Q&A link is the very last thing in the content widget. All right. And it has the links to both my regular office hour link. So if you want to make an appointment with me, this is where you would make the appointment first with me, and this is the link we would use. And for the Wednesday night Q&A sessions, we'll use this link. That way only your people from your class can be in it. So that's pretty much it. I don't want to go on any longer because I think I've gone on long enough. But welcome to the class. I hope you have a great semester, and good luck to you all. And I hope to meet some of you soon. Thanks.